Hello, this is Obelisk speaking, doing a One Piece chapter review, 1017, and it's called The Order. And we start off with the cover page. The cover page is buggy, and he's putting blocks in his body. And I guess it's to look more intimidating, puzzles. And it's a cover request. But I like Buggy. I like his character, especially after Impel Down and Marineford. I really like his character. So we start off where I think, not where we left off, but we go back to the plot point, the plot hole that is Otama. And we see a little gag here that Queen shouts, "Who are you, little girl?" And Otama just passes out. King's Hockey. But what was this all about? Did she get seriously that scared of him? Has she seen some of the mutants in there? Some of the freaks and the people she's giving her kibidangos. Have she seen any of those freaks? And she's like passing out, just seeing. I guess it's supposed to be comical. And she passes out before giving orders, but we get back to that. And we go back to Who's Who and Jinbei. And apparently Who's Who is not fighting fair and square. And they're bringing up these numbers again, and at this point, why are you even bothering with this? It doesn't matter how much forces you have, it all comes out to Kaido and the main guys. So, this kind of pointless. But you can see that Jinbei is getting shot and appears in his back. But where's his armor haki? Or I mean his observation haki. So it's not a fair fight. And we also see something very, very interesting here. Frankie appears to be bleeding. But if we look at the other panel, we see the Franken Shogun is unscathed. So how on earth how did Frankie get damaged? Internal Ryo Haki? Does Sasaki know that? Probably. He probably does know how to do internal Ryo Haki, and that's how he damaged Iron Shogun Frankie. And I'm also wondering, if I recall correctly, there's a limit to how much time he can use this robot. Or maybe it's limitless. Probably it's limitless. But I remember something about limit, but it's probably bad memory. So we move on, and we actually see Inurashiki versus Jack the Drought, and Jack is looking clean. I'm not gonna lie, he looks clean as hell. And we see that Inurashiki is wounded with an arrow in his back, and he's not looking too hot. And the enemies seem to be outnumbered. And once again, they're bringing up these numbers again, and that's when Otama finally gives the order. You gotta change sides and fight for Big Bro Luffy Momonosuke. So the giant plot hole seems to be getting resolved. Not getting resolved, I mean being used. And apparently it goes into effect. And we actually see Luffy, and Luffy is still unconscious, and he's being given CPR, not the kissing type, like the chest compression type CPR. And Momonosuke is crying out his eyes because they were so high, and it appears they're in landfall now, where they're not falling, that's for sure. So all of these smile users begin defecting, and they also your wishes are commanded, and they all start turning. Jack sees this, even Ashika is surprised. Queen is what's happening? And even the giraffe freak here, the guy who has it, starts turning on people. There's a guy here who has legs as snakes. And who's shocked. And everyone's turning on everyone here. And CP0 stays very strange. What's happening? So they're unaware they're like, they're kind of shocked too. And we see that Queen actually prefers a coffee bean attack. I believe that's what we called it last time. But that's when I guess Usopp senses it. But in comes Sanji. So I guess the bean blows up in his mouth. And he says, "Damn you, Judge Son," and I don't ever say that name. And Sanji actually calls him out for being, "Are you part of his insane research team or something?" And you said, "You mean Mads? MADS? That was ages ago." And he says, Queen is being hilarious here. He says, "Just look at my body. I'll come straight with ya. I'm a cyborg." And Sanji, I guess, was that supposed to be a secret? And it's confirmed that this is his hybrid form. And what the hell is Queen? Like, he has a sword now, and his beard appears to be a grappling hook hand. His tail also appears to be a grappling hook hand. He has dorsal plates in his back, all the way running through his tail. And this hand sort of reminds me of, I think, a hand we've seen in a movie. But it couldn't be, so whatever. Anyway, it does remind me of that. I think it was with Zephyr. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a similar design or whatever. So it looks like and what's interesting here is look out Queen's man beast form. Keep your distance. So I guess that means he's pretty destructive here. And we go to, so the plot hole that was Otama gets used. So hopefully we won't have to deal with her. But now Oda's introducing 2 new plot holes in the story. The first one is apparently Chopper asking about some special medicine that the Zoan people had this whole time, which is akin to a sensory beam. And Chopper seems to have regressed to a childlike form. I wonder if this is permanent or he can reverse it. And it's mostly because of merch. Ultra regenerative effects like, yes, but only temporarily. In return, you suffer twice as much later. So what's he stating here? I don't know enough about it. Give it to him. Does it really have ultra regenerative effects? So it regenerates, but only temporary. So whatever Zoro damage has, it's gonna multiply once the effect runs out. And I guess Zoro's like, yeah, whatever, just give it to me. That doesn't matter. So he knows even with this tide, the shift in tide with the soldiers, it's still not enough to beat the commanders and all that stuff. So Zoro's taking it. That means after this, Zoro is 100% going to be out of commission. He's not getting up no matter what. Which is interesting. And the reason is why we don't know what's going to happen after Zoro goes 100% pass out. And I think this is a major plot hole because this is never mentioned. This sensu beam, this magic did you have this medicine on Zoro the whole time? Yeah, the whole duration time. Like, this came out of nowhere. This is a massive plot hole right here. Just to get Zoro up. I don't understand why Oda's doing this. Because he has Chopper, he has Law, and he has Marco, which are insane doctors. Like, why do this? Why, like, I don't know. It's been getting sloppy lately. And then we go back to Who's Who. And Who's Who. This is a major. I think this is hilarious. Who's Who unsheathes his sword, and it turns out to be a tiny dagger. A tiny dagger. This is hilarious. I thought this was like, oh, this is Oda trolling people. Like, oh, and Who's Who is actually using CP0 attacks here. He's using Rokushiki and all sorts of pretty much Robelucci. And Who's Who reveals that he was a CP0, or more like Jinbei, and that he escaped prison because he made a mistake 12 years ago. And Who's Who goes hybrid form, which is impressive here. So in terms of Devil Fruit, Who's Who should be superior to Robelucci. And Who's Who does a pretty impressive claw attack. And then he mentions his mistake. And his mistake apparently was 12 years ago. He was escorting a devil fruit, which was taken by an enemy. And apparently this devil fruit turned out to be the Gomu Gomu no fruit. And because of this, Who's was punished and imprisoned and apparently escaped, which I presume all happened 12 years ago. So he has a grudge against Luffy, and by proxy he has a grudge against Jinbei because Jinbei is the Hellsman. He even stated here, you stated you're the Hellsman, right? So that's why he has a grudge against pretty much Luffy. So what I think this is a magic plot hole. So now Oda here is trying to make this fruit is special. There's something with this fruit that's unique. This could be a plot hole because it's never mentioned. Like, never. I know in the first chapters, like in the first chapter, it does, I think Lucky Root does mention, oh, he ate the devil fruit that we stole from an enemy ship, but that's about it. I don't think Oda foreshadowed this from all the way back, so he's just implementing this. And I think this implementation is to give Luffy yet another power-up to be able to beat Kaido. Now, there's several ways Oda can go about this. The first, we know it is not Roger's fruit. It is not Rock's DC Bag fruit, because neither Big Mom, Whitebeard, or Kaido have made any mention of it. Zero mention. That means there's another possibility. It could be Joy Boy's fruit. Or there's another possibility, in which is this theory I just thought about right now. Since we know that the lineage factor can be traced and Vegapunk can make artificial devil fruits with it, as a result we have Momonosuke. Could it be possible that this devil fruit that the who's escorting, could it be possible that it belongs to someone within the government? And that would mean by implication that the devil fruit Luffy has is a copy, an inferior copy to the original Gomu Gomu no fruit. That's pretty much what I'm implying here. Now, who is the individual who has the original one? That's the real tricky question. If this is correct, could it be I'm? Could it be I'm the one? But that also indicates that I'm allowed, allowed Vegapunk to clone his to mess with his lineage factor, with his DNA, just like Kaido did. So I'm pondering here, like, this could be a possibility where it's a fake devil fruit. Or it could be just like it was just a devil fruit the government was looking for and wanted to give it to one of the Navy guys or superiors or something like that. But I don't think so. That's like too vague. Why is he making such a huge emphasis on it? So it has to be something important. It's gonna stem between, well, the theory I just made, or it's gonna be Joy Boy's fruit. But if it's going into Joy Boy's fruit, we're going into a lot of Destiny stuff, which I don't really like, because Naruto, I kind of didn't like it anymore, because after it introduced this whole Destiny plot and everything was preordained and it didn't matter how much hard work you did, it was all destiny. Everything just falls on your lap because you were the chosen destined one. And if this is the case, that means Luffy is the chosen destined one. So what's the point of the struggle of the other characters? Like, there's no struggle here. He's the chosen one. Then again, he is the MC, so it's just shown. I'm really hoping it's not that. I'm really hoping it's my theory. I just came up with it. I don't know if anyone's coming up with it, but my theory is that Luffy's devil fruit is a fake. It's 100% fake, and the original user could potentially be I'm, or no, I was gonna say one of the elders, but then again, none of them mentioned it, so it could be potentially I'm, because we know I'm is a secret character, and potentially speaking, the only people who know of Aim's existence are the elders and possibly Dragon. And maybe Zebek knew about him, which in turn would make Goldie Roger know him. But Goldie Roger knowing about him or her, doesn't really matter because he's dead. So this could be, I don't know, because this feels like a major plot hole here. So I'm hoping it's to my theory, because it would be more interesting. Also pondering, like, if this is correct, and say, okay, we look at Momonosuke. Momonosuke has a fake Kaido fruit, and Kaido has the original fruit. What would happen if Kaido dies and Momonosuke eats his fruit? Like, I'm trying to think. Does it just fuse with the fake one, and that's it, and the fake one gets canceled out, or does it or they combine and like make it even more powerful devil fruit, or is it even possible to begin with? Because I'm pondering this right now. I just came up with it. So anyway, I think this is an okay chapter. It's not that great because there's the major big the plot hole with Otama has been utilized, and we get to see the full capacity of its use. And then we see another plot hole, which is this magic sensu beam that existed in Zoro, never mentioned. Never. And apparently it heals you. Super regenerative abilities. But after it wears out, you receive twice the damage. So that's a plot hole right there. And as for Chopper, I don't think it's plot hole. Chopper's just like, they're making him more kawaii. Which I am wondering if it's permanent. Because if it's permanent, isn't he a liability now? Because how is he going to treat something where his hands are like a toddler's? And then we have Who's Who. I really like Who's Who's and Jinbe's fight. And this whole backstory of him being CP0 is pretty interesting. Which makes it even more interesting because we have CP0 here. And he's CP9. So wouldn't they want to capture him? Like, what's going on here? But then again, he's under Kaido's protection, so it's probably okay. Anyway, 3 plot holes being used here. Whether they're good or bad, I don't know. It depends on the viewer's perspective. In my opinion, they're not that great. They kind of diminish the story a little, but Oda's trying to rush this arc. He's trying to rush the finish line, so we're going to get more and more stuff like this, I guess, in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Peace out.